In this video, we're going to learn how we can divide fractions using a visual model. For those of you who aren't a big fan of the KFC method, perhaps a visual version may work better for you. Our evidence, we're going to create a box model. We're going to use our box model to help us divide fractions. We're going to understand a special rule when dividing with mixed numbers or improper fractions, either way. This is going to be a little bit different for those situations. We're going to have a couple of examples. There's going to be a you-do problem, and then some suggested practice problems at the end, as per usual. So our first example, we have two fractions. We have 3/5 divided by 2/3. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our 3/5 and we're going to note that we have a 5 right here. So what that's telling us is that we're going to make 5 columns. And you can probably draw them slightly better than I have. But we've got 5 columns in this box. The denominator in our divisor is 3. So that means we're going to make 3 rows, and they're going to be slightly wonky, but that's okay. So we've made a nice sort of grid here out of our original box. Next, we're going to look at our numerators. We see that we have 3/5. So with the dividend, we're going to shade in 3 of our columns. So that's 1 fully shaded in, 2, and 3. With the numerator in the divisor, which is a 2, we're going to circle 2 of our rows. So we're going to circle them like so, and then we're actually basically done already. The very last step that we'll need to take is we'll need to just count things up. We're going to have a fraction, of course, and this top number, the numerator, is just going to be how many boxes you have shaded in, and the bottom number is going to be the number that you have circled. So if we actually count these up, we see you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we're going to have a 9 for our numerator. And in terms of what we have circled, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So we're going to have a 10 for our denominator. Now if we could simplify, we would simplify. We can't though, so we get a lovely fraction of 9/10. If you try this using one of the other methods, you'll find that you'll get the same thing. You'll still get 9/10 if you use the KFC method. If you know the cross-multiplying method, you can use that. You'll still get 9/10. Try this out if you want. Moving right along to the you-do, I want you to now try this division problem. Use your model. Don't use the KFC method for this. Use your model. See what your quotient is going to be. Your fraction here is 2/4 divided by 1/6. Think about how many columns do you need, how many rows do you need, what are you circling, what are you shading in. Ready, go. Mixed numbers or improper fractions are going to be a little bit trickier to use for this method, but they do actually still work. We'll start it the same way that we usually do. So we're going to look at how many columns and how many rows we need. We only need 2 columns, so that makes that really easy. And we need 3 rows. So we get something that looks like that. Not too bad. The numerators is where this is going to come in to be a problem. Now remember, any improper fraction is just a fraction whose numerator is bigger than the denominator. And we can't really shade in 3 columns because we only have 2. Except that is actually exactly what we're going to do. We're going to shade in our first column, our second column, And we're actually going to pretend that there's a third column right here, and we're going to shade that in as well. When it comes to the numerator of the divisor, we see that we have 4. We can't circle 4 rows because we don't have 4 rows. But we're going to pretend that we do anyway. So we're just going to make sure we circle all of that. And you'll notice we don't circle the ones that are shaded. That is very, very important. If we want, we can add another line here just to show that we have another row there. So this is a little bit weird, right? We've circled some things that didn't exist, and we've shaded in some things that don't exist. And that's actually going to be part of our special rules here. What we're going to need to do is, if our dividend is improper, you're just going to shade in however many extra columns you need. When your divisor is improper, you're going to circle extra rows. But the extra shaded or circled boxes do not count for each other. So what that means is when we're counting stuff up, let's say we're finding our numerator, so we're going to count up the shaded boxes. We count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So our numerator is going to be a 9 again. And our circled boxes, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So our denominator is going to be an 8. Notice that when we were counting the shaded things, the things that we had circled, we did not count these 3 boxes as being circled. You only need to circle things if they're in the original model. Suggested practice problems for today. You have 2 problems that will work just normally with the visual model, and then you have an improper fraction in the third one. That one's going to be a little bit tricky. Do the best you can. You don't have to do it, that's why it's suggested. See what you can do. Good luck.